I'm Kurt Kistler with Kistler Company. We are a specialty contractor that specializes in cladding solutions and natural daylighting solutions. My role as Vice President, along with running day-to-day operations, I'm also one of our outside guys to work with architects and general contractors to try to help them with their designs, to add value to their designs, add value to the general contractor's work. We try to make sure that we foster great relationships with our general contractors and architects so that they want to work with us again. Medical facilities are a large portion of our work simply for the demographic growth that we've seen in our area. And we're involved with anything from small clinics to large clinics like the Mayo Clinic and Mercy Care. So anything that we can do to help make that experience a little less miserable, maybe even enjoyable, is what we're trying to achieve. We always want to try to keep the human element in mind because there's going to be folks inhabiting these spaces. And so we're trying to make sure that we foster an environment where people feel comfortable, where they feel relaxed, where they feel like they're not going to have to spend a lot of time. And I think with all of the studies done, we know that natural daylighting helps people feel more comfortable in that space. For us, I think, when somebody walks into a space, we want to see some type of emotional reaction from them. And in a lot of cases, that kind of shows you whether you were successful in the design and with that space. And so, you want to see somebody come in and kind of be wowed at what they see. Mercy Care is an Atlanta-based Catholic affiliated organization whose goal is to serve the underprivileged. And in many cases, these are people that just can't pay for the bill. They take care of folks on a sliding scale, and in many cases for free. Daylighting has become a big element of architecture because we now know through various studies that daylight really affects the occupants' behavior, satisfaction, and other elements when they're in the space. Specifically, there's a Heschong-Mahon study that was first done with retail, followed up with schools, that effectively demonstrated that when you include natural daylight into the design, you have emotional reactions from folks, whether it be in schools, less tardiness or more attentive students, and then you've got less workplace absenteeism and higher satisfaction rates when a place is naturally daylit. Yeah, after Heschong-Mahon completed their study, there's been several studies that were more focused on healthcare and really demonstrated that overall satisfaction of the patients when they were in the space was much higher in a naturally daylit space. Again, we don't want to sit in a hospital, but when you can sit in an environment that's a little bit more pleasing, you tend to not feel like you're trapped in what you're having to deal with that day. What they've also found is that the average length of stay for a patient is less. It's a shorter time span than the clinic that's just got artificial lights. And I think that also kind of lends to the idea of better outcomes for patients. Kalwall was specifically chosen for this product for its ability to bring in aesthetically pleasing natural daylight, not only to save money, but to also make sure that we've got an interior space that's adequately lit and invites people into the space. Kalwall's unique because they're actually harnessing an energy source that's already provided for free from the sun. And so what we're doing is effectively managing that daylight to bring it into the space to give us the exact quality and quantity of light that we want in that interior. The big drawback to clear glazing is always going to be glare. When you're inside of a space that's got standard clear glazing, you're going to be able to see that point of light coming in, whereas with Kalwall, you're not going to be able to tell where the light's coming in, and you're going to be sitting in a glare-free environment. As demonstrated on our daylight models, Kalwall can actually effectively push daylight about 1.5 times further into the space than clear glazing. Kalwall's got really high thermal performance and thermal properties built into the panel. So whether you're sitting right next to a wall that's daylit with Kalwall or directly underneath the skylight, we're going to make sure that you cannot feel that heat. So we're trying to help produce a compassionate element for the inhabitants in the space, whether that be employees of the clinic itself or patients that come in. And as we know, compassion above all is Mercy Care's mission. With the Kalwall Daylighting solution, it provides an incredible energy savings for the building and for the owner. And that's very important because that allows Mercy Care to spend less money on things like operation of the building and more money on patient care, which is their mission. This is an underserved area, and in many cases there are people here that don't have access to healthcare. So when this project was built, we could tell right off the bat it would be a beacon for the community and a source of hope and compassion for those that in many cases are lacking that in their life. So our involvement, of course, is one of pride to be able to be involved with such a great group like Mercy Care, to be able to lend our services and our design expertise to provide them the space that they've built. And I think architecturally, it stands out in a community like this. I mean, there are beautiful buildings in downtown Atlanta, but this one really stands out. And it's a medical facility that's known for not being for profit, and yet they went out of their way to make sure that they made a statement with what they designed. Yeah, it's really a testament for a community that looks out for its own.